Morning, morning. This is just for my YouTube channel. I'm not going to put this on social media where I have more engagement and followers. I know YouTube is also social media, but I'm putting this on YouTube for me, and so that I can look back and see my evolution and all the things. I don't want to put this on social media and then be looking at likes and all that stuff. Like YouTube, I might have 3 views of the last 10 videos, and that's okay. This is cathartic for me, and important to know that I'm still honoring myself without hopefully creating a lot of extra drama with people. But today is October 10th, 2025. It's Friday. But I said before, I don't have a stressful job, so I don't live just for the weekend. I am blessed enough and thankful enough that I have a good work situation right now, and so I don't just live for the weekend. I live every day, and so shout out to my boss and my boss's boss for the wonderful honeymoon period of having a great work situation. But anyway, that's not what I wanted to come on and talk about this morning. Did I say already it's Friday, October 10th? It's a little early. But what I wanted to say is that one of the things that actually both of my parents would do growing up is that if I did something that they didn't like, besides, spanking, like my father never spanked me ever. But as I got older and they stopped, or my mom stopped spanking me, one of the ways that my father especially, my mother would be able to convince my father if I was doing something that she didn't like or she didn't agree with. She would convince my father that she would say I was spoiled and selfish, and then she would control the narrative and go around to the family saying the same thing. And so I always have had challenges with asserting myself and speaking my truth, because what I would be threatened with is abandonment, and shame, and all the things, and the silent treatment. Like that's mostly the few times that I can remember that my dad ever got upset with me. It would be complete silent treatment, and like worried that he would never speak to me again. And I loved and adored my dad. Like I was used to the games with my mother and all the things, and the verbal, I would call it verbal abuse, but the guilting and the shame and all the things. But like if my dad stopped speaking to me, oh my God. So anyway, what I would say is that growing up, it was very, very difficult for me to be anything or pretend to be anything but happy, and smiling, and like nothing is ever wrong. And so what I learned to do is suppress my emotions and feelings by drinking and using drugs and all the things. And there was definitely some acting out behavior, but I had no way of expressing my feelings and being able to be in my feelings. So I used drinking and drugs and all the things. And so anyway, also food, any kind of aholism or ism that you can think of, I probably dabbled in it. And so anyway, what's beautiful about now is that even though I have felt like as I try to assert my boundaries. I felt like, in fact, actually, I had a situation just a couple days ago where I was trying to tell my mom, like, hey, what you're calling me about and telling me about right now, I am not ready to receive it. Like, I'm not in the space to receive it. And she hung up in my face. And I started crying, and she hung up in my face. And then sent me a couple texts saying something, again, trying to shame me, saying that I was being selfish. And it was just like, okay, fine, and I don't even know if I responded back to the tactics and the manipulation and the games. And I was just like, okay. And then the very next day, or maybe 2 days later, I can't remember, because I feel like she tried to freeze me out for a minute. And then, and also to exert financial control. And then maybe 2 days later, I got the Happy Friday kind of thing, like nothing ever happened. It's just like crazy making behavior. So anyway, I say all that to say that in this particular situation that I've been vlogging about, I felt a little bit of the same thing of like, I was trying to assert my boundaries and set certain things of like the last minute stuff and all that stuff, like trying to assert certain boundaries. And I feel like I was getting punished for it. Like maybe that's where the ghosting really started to become pervasive, of like, oh, fine, you don't want to be available for me, I'm not going to respond to your messages. And just, because this person is always expressing irritation and things getting on their nerves, then I guess I don't want to gaslight myself and say I was making up a story, but I do feel like they were acting different as I was starting to like not just bend at every invitation and everything of like being ready when they're ready, but then, getting ghosted. I know I'm not being 100% clear, but anyway, so I say all that to say that I'm doing this for me on YouTube, to make sure that I'm not gaslighting myself and making up facts and stories and remembering things differently. One thing that I have definitely learned to do is I've learned to make sure that I document everything, if nothing else, for myself. So I send emails to myself. I keep Google Docs. I keep audio recordings. I have transcripts. I have videos. I have everything. And it's because I've been around such crazy making behavior that I have to do all this stuff to make sure that I keep myself straight. So anyway, like I said, my mom sent a Happy Friday like nothing ever happened. It's just like, you can also not just talk to me and do any old kind of thing. And when I try to assert a boundary, you hang up in my face. And then the next day or 2 days later, act like nothing ever happened, never apologize or anything. It's just like, people think they can treat Nicole any old kind of way. And Nicole will just go, okay, everything is fine. Everything is fine. And it's just like, everything is not fine. You cannot talk to me, treat me any old kind of way. Then if I try to assert a boundary, give me the silent treatment, ghost me, and do all the things and think I'm just going to say, okay, yes, you can do that. And then when you're ready to talk to me again, it's fine, because it's just not fine. So anyway, I'm at 10 minutes and I'm going to let this go. And maybe I'll have more to say later, but it's all good for now. Make it a great day. Of course, I have to watch the video back and then go, okay, let me add a few clarifications. Is one thing, I was spoiled by my dad, so don't get that twisted. I was very materially spoiled by my parents, but in terms of expressing my feelings and having my feelings accepted, I always had to just be happy. And so I definitely had substance abuse problems starting at a very early age. I went to rehab when I was 19, and I no longer use alcohol or drugs after I went to rehab. And so I stopped doing that. But I never kept doing the program and all the things. And so I had all kind of aholic type behaviors after I went to rehab: workaholism, gambling, shopping, you name it. I don't want to say you name it. I've probably done it, but I did a lot. But anyway, so I do want to clarify every time I'm talking about asserting my boundaries, I am not saying asserting my boundaries in maybe the way that people might imagine of like going off on somebody type of asserting a boundary. I'm talking about very respectful, hey, I mean, even if I had to post receipts, I could, because a lot of times I am not good at asserting boundaries verbally. But just like, hey, let's do this 24 to 48 hour notice for coming over. My house is not, I mean, actually, I think I tried to say it in a nice way verbally first of like, my house is not clean and I'm not ready. I prefer to have my house clean and ready for you to come over. So, letting me know the morning of that you want to come over is, I never ever said anything like it doesn't work for me or anything with the attitude or neck roll or anything. It was more very kind, gentle way, I feel, of trying to just say, hey, can we try something different? And even at the time, I think I verbally said it, they came back and said, oh, well, you seen my house. It doesn't matter. I don't care about that. And it was just like, okay, the nice way didn't work of saying, okay, my house is not clean, blah, blah, blah. So then let me try again later with a text message of like, hey, let's do this 24 to 48 hour notice, so that I can be prepared. And I think in a text message said something about the whole smell thing and making sure that my house is not smelling and all the things. Like I've really tried. I'm not gonna lie. I've really tried to be nice in asserting my boundaries. Now with my mom at the time when she called and she was going on and on and on, just like the vendor was going on and on and on that I was talking about. I did just kind of say, hey, can we talk about this some other time? This is overwhelming to me. But I didn't say it in a mean, nasty way. There was no cursing. There was no nothing. And you could see I was overwhelmed because I started crying like this is too much for me to deal with right now. I can't talk about this right now. And then they hung up in my face. So anyway, Nicole is not good at knowing well, I'm not going to gaslight myself and say that. What I would say is that I have a bad picker, maybe, and that I've been surrounded by people who don't respect my boundaries, even when I respectfully try to assert them. So, yeah, I'm not going to gaslight myself and say that I have a problem. At this point, these people have a problem because there's been other people where I've respectfully asserted my boundaries and they've apologized and they've corrected their behavior and there's been no issue, and vice versa. So I'm not going to gaslight myself and say I'm the problem. But that's what my YouTube channel is for, is for me to express myself and not get into any kind of verbal debates or arguments, because like I said, when the person ambushed me Monday morning at 7 o'clock, it might have even been earlier than that, I don't know, and said, I'm giving you a heads up. I'm going to set up a meeting so we can check in. And that's what they said, right? And then I get the meeting invitation. It's for 9 o'clock. And I understand that, I am, anyway, I can't really say much about that, but it's just kind of like, once again, I need to be at your beck and call. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm trying to respectfully and in a nice way say, like, let's have some more respect for my time. And I don't know what other way to ask for it and to say it except to just, I haven't really been around this person for months now because I was so like bamboozled by trying to do things the right way and then getting the attitude and the snippiness and the ghosting and all the things. And it's just like, okay, I'm not here for it. So I'm out. And so anyway, I've gone on long enough. But I might have more to say, and that's okay because YouTube, they don't really have time limits. They be having 8-hour videos, so I could go in for a while if I want to. Okay, so I'm laughing at myself because I have one tiny other thing to add, and that is that the super confusing part is that this person that I'm referring to that I've been vlogging about is absolutely excellent in not bamboozling me at all on the professional side of things, of like just really giving plenty of time for requests and all the things. And so extremely, extremely respectful. And it's like, if they could just practice that same restraint when it comes to the personal side, and not even restraint, but the same courtesy. And even if you want to do everything at the last minute, that's, I guess, okay. But then don't get mad and hold it against me and play all these fucking games and silent treatment and ghosting and all the things. If I say no, I'm just not available. Like it's just kind of like, what's crazy to me is that for months now, let me back up and just say, I used to be with this person a lot. Like, we spent a lot of time together. And for months, like probably since June or July, I really haven't spent a lot of time with this person. And it's the same thing of like, I guess they got busy with whatever was going on in their life and everything else. And so then it was just like, okay, I'm ready to start doing this thing again, which I'm not going to say because then it'll be obvious who it is. And Nicole's just supposed to be like, okay, yeah, I'm ready for you now that you're finished doing what you're doing. It's like, no, Nicole went on with her life and was like, okay, I'm going and doing what I need to do and enjoying myself. And I'm not going to just drop everything because now you're ready. Like, go ahead and do what you want to do, sis. I'm not tripping. I mean, I am tripping, but I'm not gonna just drop everything because you're ready. And I feel a little bit like okay, I'm not even gonna go there. But I would say that I'm sure that there's probably other people who, if they were really started thinking about it, they would be like, yeah, Nicole is not just making up stories. But anyway, I just need respect. I need respect. Respect in both how you talk to me, respect of my time. And like I said, if you just kind of look at how, never mind. Okay, the never mind part I have to add on that is that even though professionally respect of my time and not stressing me out at all professionally with that, what I will say though is that the snippiness and the attitude, I was definitely getting that. And I felt like I was getting it of just like, wow, I have to deal with this person professionally and they're just giving me straight attitude and snippiness and disrespectful treatment in terms of how they were talking to me. And thankfully, in the professional setting, we can get a lot of stuff done in writing and not a lot of verbal dialogue, because I was like, wow, I can't believe that Anyway, it's just like, yeah, you cannot just talk to Nicole any old kind of way. I don't care what the situation is. Be respectful. And if you have an attitude and you're stressed out, don't take it out on me. I think I'm done now. And then, because I feel like I was pissing them off personally, that the snippiness was coming out professionally because they were pissed off personally. So, anyway, I'm not done. So, I just have to clarify, in the situation that I was talking about related to my mom, is that I had just been texting with her, telling her that the vendor was overwhelming me and confusing me. And I had asked her to call the vendor. And, you know, I understand it was late her time and all the things. And so she was helping me. And I appreciated her help. So I don't want to make it seem like it's all her fault or whatever. But what I had said was that the vendor was overwhelming me with too much information. Could she call the vendor? And so what happened is that she called the vendor and she was helping me and it was wonderful. But then what she then in turn did, because I told her it was just the whole situation was stressing me out and all the things. I literally said that in the text message to her. So then what she did is she talked to the vendor and I guess got all the talking out that they needed to do, because her style is more verbal than mine is. And I appreciated the help and everything. But then what happened is she called me when we had been texting. Then she called me. And then she started telling me all the same shit that the vendor was trying to tell me. And it was just like, okay, I just told you that all that was overwhelming me. Can we talk about it some other time? Now is not the time. And that's when she hung up on me. And then sent a couple texts, a couple nasty texts saying stuff that was manipulative and trying to guilt me because I wasn't ready to talk about it. And then silent treatment and the whole thing. And then maybe a day later or 2 days later, happy Friday. Again, like I said, Nicole cannot have feelings and Nicole cannot express a boundary of saying, look, can we talk about this some other time? And the same thing happened on Monday when I got ambushed with the verbal conversation of like, anyway, the same thing though, of like, I'm not ready to talk about it. I'm in my feelings right now. And then, okay, I know you don't want to talk about it, but here, let me tell you all the stuff that I want you to know and that you need to hear from me right now. And it's just like, Nicole cannot express a fucking boundary. And now I'm in my feelings and now I'm cursing because this is my fucking YouTube channel and I can say what I have to say, because you can't do that with these people. You cannot just go in on them, because then they'll stop talking to you. Then you get abandoned. Then you're the selfish, spoiled person and all the things. And so anyway, now I'm really in my feelings because I'm angry. I'm tired of dealing with this kind of shit. Okay, I just got in my feelings. But just when you think, okay, Nicole is crazy, Nicole is selfish, Nicole is spoiled, Nicole is wrong, and just, always creating drama and all the things, all the things that you can make Nicole wrong about. Let's just say this. Again, this is my YouTube channel, and I'm not having any kind of conversation with the people that I'm talking about because they've said all these things about me, and it's like, okay, you're welcome and entitled to your opinions and feelings. But like I said, Nicole documents. Nicole has receipts. Nicole has text messages. Nicole has emails. Nicole has everything digitally needed to support herself. Nicole was an auditor at PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, all the things. Nicole learned how to document things. So Nicole has recordings. Nicole has the verbal abuse messages that I've received before, not from the person that I was vlogging about, but specifically from the mother, and all the things. Nicole has the nastygram text messages. And so it's like, come for me if you will. Start talking about how Nicole is crazy and selfish and spoiled and all the things. And okay, I have a YouTube channel now. I don't have to go back and forth with anybody. I can just start posting receipts. That's not something that's really my style or something that I plan on doing. But if you try to play the crazy card and the selfish and the spoiled card and all the things, I will just keep going with what I'm doing on my YouTube channel. So anyway, and then try the abandonment and the silent treatment, all those things. Like I said in another video, y'all have all done it to me before, so I'm used to it and I will survive it. Even if that means that I have to eat alone, if I have to be in the hospital alone, if I have to do everything alone. Y'all have already done it to me before, so just go ahead and do it again.